Well, welcome to today's AM Minnesota program. Yes, it's Fair Talk. John Dvorak, the Executive Secretary of the Rice County Fair, is back again. If my math is correct, we're down to 3 weeks and counting.
Unfortunately, your math is correct, and, and it's coming, and boy, I tell you, wouldn't it be great if we could have a week like the weather today? Maybe
I have my order in. We'll see how my hotline to the top is working.
Mine's been in for a long time, and so I hope it's not here early.
I did go snooping though. Going home the other day, I took the shortcut through the Rice County Fairgrounds. Everything looks beautiful.
It's shaping up, isn't it, Jerry? You can just taste it in the air. It's going to be here before you know it.
I can already smell the fair food.
Yeah, well, everybody says, can you smell the fair food? When I start tasting it, I start worrying, and I've been tasting it now for a while. So.
And I did have the windows open. I heard the kids screaming. Must have been from going on the rides last year. They're still
it could be. They're still out there echoing.
We do have another special guest bringing a little class to the program today. You want to introduce our special guest? Speaking of rides at the fair and kids screaming, maybe adults too.
Yes, I have a representative here from Gold Star Amusement. As you all know, Gold Star has been a wonderful addition that we made quite a few years ago to the Rice County Fair. I think that's probably going on 20 years now that we've had them at the Rice County Fair. It's Gold Star Amusement. I have Melissa from their office here with me today, and she's going to talk a little bit about the carnival rides and what all goes on with the fair.
Well, there's nothing to be done in the background. They just show up the day of the fair and we start having fun, right?
No. Planning it's hard to keep everything straight. I told them the week prior is when I get moved on to the next week's fair. I can only keep so much in my head at one time. There's so much going on.
When does your season start and when does it end?
Gold Star begins our season middle of March, and we start in Texas. We do Nederland, Texas, and then we go all the way through to the middle of November, and we end in New Orleans. But we spend our summers in Minnesota because summer is home for us, or Minnesota is home for us, so that's why we spend our summers here.
Oh, so where's the company based out of then? You said here in Minnesota?
Yep. I was born and raised in Coon Rapids, Minnesota, and that's where my mother is from. And the company now, we just relocated to Faribault 3-4 years ago, is now home base. So Faribault is home for Gold Star.
Oh, cool. I still can't imagine how you do it. You see all these beautiful rides, everybody having fun. And the end of the fair, middle of the night, sometime on a Saturday or a Sunday, it's get all this stuff tucked away, packed up on wheels on the way to the next one.
Oh, it's a lot of work, and the guys have gotten into a really good routine right now. So about 6 hours from when you close, everything is packed up on the trucks and on the road.
That's mind-boggling.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing. The first few weeks it takes a little bit longer, but they're in a real good routine right now. So it's about a 6-hour teardown.
I find that you have to be in a routine myself. When I get to the studio in the morning now, the routine that I get into, and if something happens and you get out of that routine, all at once, oh gee, I didn't print out the weather forecast, and I'm ready to read the forecast. So I think that, and here, so what? Well, I do the weather a little bit later. I go do it during the song. Here, if you don't have the ride put together properly, somebody might get hurt, or you might lose something on the interstate on the way to the next fair.
Yeah, that's what always it bothers me. And we get to the next spot, everything was working great when you tore down. You get there, and then you find you're missing a hammer or missing this or that, and so you're constantly running to the store to replace things that fell off on the trip from one place to another. And the worst thing is on the drive, if you blow a tire, then you're in the middle of the night trying to round up a tire. But we keep a lot of extra parts on hand.
Yeah, or fuel filter clogged, or some problem with the. See, John, somebody else has a lot of things to keep track of too.
That's right. Yeah. That's right, and they do a great job of it. And with Melissa explaining everything the way she has, everybody, kind of questions, why do we start on Wednesday instead of Tuesday, and that's the big.
Well, John, we have to take a break for the market, so why don't you hang on to that thought, and then we'll pick it up there. But I do remember you mentioning that once before. It's all about safety and making sure they have enough time to get here and stay in their routine and get everything set up. But We'll find out more about that after the market break, sponsored by the KDHL Agri Boosters, including Ag Power Enterprises, and of course that is your John Deere dealer. They have locations in Owatonna, Hollandale, Belle Plaine, also Sage in Northwood, Iowa, along with Northern Buildings. Check them out at northernbuildings.com.
IBEWPros.org.
One more.
Did you know that Syngenta is one of the world's leading companies with more than 27,000 employees in some 90 countries, all dedicated to one purpose: bringing plant potential to life. One of the unique things about Syngenta is that their actions and products can help address one of our planet's most challenging dilemmas: how to grow more crops from less resources. At Syngenta, they put the grower at the center of everything they do. Syngenta Seeds Research Center in Stanton is proud to support many local activities and agriculture.
One more. Let's do this.
And now more Fair
Isn't
Talk
that a
here
cool
on Monday
jingle?
Night 20 KDHL. This portion brought to you by Tim's Trucking of Morristown, Motown's biggest rock group, by Faribault Foods, IBEW Local Union 110, proud to be a part of this community, and by Coles Electric of Owatonna. Your satisfaction is their bottom line. Now more Fair Talk here on KDHL.
Yes, Fair Talk with Executive Secretary John Dvorak of the Rice County Fair, and a special guest, Melissa, with Gold Star Amusements.
That's right. Boy, I tell you, it's coming quick, and all the plans are being made, and as Melissa was explaining prior to the break, they've been running now. They're in full swing, and
So that means they have all the kinks out of the first.
Well, I sure hope so.
But before the break, though, John, you mentioned that we kind of kick off the Rice County Fair on Tuesday, have the Fair Queen coronation, but all the rides with Gold Star Amusements don't start until Wednesday.
Exactly so, and as Melissa was saying, they're constantly going. They're at a fair before our fair. They're at several fairs before our fair. So to get all those rides pulled in and put together prior to when we started having them on Tuesday, when they would open on Tuesday, they'd be working night and day, and I mean literally they'd work all night to get the rides going, and we just kind of stepped back and we took a look at this, and stuff happens, when you're tired, and stuff happens when you're not alert,
And it's one thing when I'm on the air and I'm a little tired because I was out the farm the night before, so I stumble or I miss a hard break. Nobody's going to get hurt.
That's right. That's right. And so the last thing we want to do, and the last thing as a fair manager, I don't want to have to call a parent up and say there's been a ride accident at the fair. And so we decided, okay, let's play it safe here. Let's get everybody the rest they need, and we'll start these rides on Wednesday rather than on Tuesday. That way they don't have to work through the night. They don't have to, be up and something happened, or they forget something because they neglected something, and they're plenty rested. They don't go into overtime earlier in the week, and have to spend the rest of the week on overtime. So this is just one of the concessions we decided to make as a fair board, and I just think it was the right decision we made, because it's just one more ingredient that you put into that big pot, saying, hey, we're doing everything we can to make sure that this fair is safe.
But Melissa, you must have policies or procedures in terms of, okay, this ride is all set up, but now somebody else is going to come in, and you have inspections and all sorts of policies and procedures set up.
Yeah, each state has its own laws, and each city even has different rules on inspections and such. But we get inspected yearly through, I believe it's the NARSO certification, and that's in the beginning of the year. And then every single week and every single day, there's opening inspections before the rides open every single day. And then the inspectors come out before the fair begins at every location in the state of Minnesota. And so they make sure everything is up and ready to roll before the fair begins.
And because we're talking about rides here, and of course you put electricity with them because they're getting power, so you really need to have somebody there that knows what they're doing. I think for moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas, it's reassuring to know that there's a lot of policies and procedures and inspections so that we
Yes.
can go out to the fair and have a great
Oh,
time.
no, they inspect every single day, and that's part of the hours too, why we open just a little bit later sometimes, because it takes at least 30 minutes, sometimes to an hour, to do a full inspection and then the maintenance for the ride on a daily basis, because some rides need multiple spots greased every single day, and then check, replace light bulbs, keep things in working order, both just the aesthetics and for mechanical side of things.
Speaking of aesthetics, I remember growing up when you went to a fair and sometimes carnival workers maybe didn't look like the most upstanding citizens, and boy, that's really changed over the years. I mean, with Gold Star Amusements specifically, you have flowers set up around, and everybody is well groomed, and they have their nice matching shirts, so you know exactly who's with the carnival if you have questions or concerns, and it seems like the people enjoy what they do.
No, we've been growing as a company, but we still want to keep the family atmosphere going. So no matter how large our company grows, we still treat it like a family. We're like the mom and dads taking care of everybody out there. They're all of our kids. Even when I was only 20, they were still like looked at as siblings or like family members.
Do you have some employees maybe that have been with you, I suspect, for a lot of years?
Oh yeah, I have there's a lady that works with our family. She said she's going on 30 years now. She's been with our family. So she would actually come and help watch me while my parents traveled when they couldn't be at home with me. And so she's been around forever. And we have a handful of employees that have been with us for at least 10 years. So we keep a real strong core, and then we supplement our core with H2B workers. And we use South Africa as our place of recruiting. So there are a lot of young South African faces out there that keep everything fresh and energized to help support our American staff, and it's really great on the Americans because it's a lot of work, and so to have a nice young group of people come in to help them out keeps everything rolling really well.
Ballpark figure, how many employees are involved in?
We have 3 different things going on at once. We have the rides, and then we have food, and we have games. So on the ride side, we get pretty close to the 50, but just not quite, employees to operate all the rides with 30 some rides going. It takes near 50 with maintenance and such. And then food and games, it's also really close to 50 when you put those 2 staff together. So we got almost 100 people out there running everything.
Wow, that's a lot of people coming into the community. And they basically live out of a trailer then during the whole run from early March till...
Yeah, correct. I honestly lost track of how many trailers we have right now. We're divided into 2 units as I speak right now, so I hadn't seen everything all together. But each of our bunkhouses that we build, we design them as like little mini suites. So 10 people live in a trailer. They share a shower for 4 people to 1 shower, and then we have a special room in the back for we have couples that travel with us, so it's just a private shower for them. So we keep everything inside, so I don't have to go outside to shower, and keep modernizing our bunkhouses every year.
And how do you feed everybody?
Well, food, they're a little bit on their own, but when we do get to a location, especially quick jumps, we'll provide lunch or dinner for everybody. Most towns have, enough fast food nearby, or they, do their own shopping. We have also fridge and microwave in each of those
so they
suites.
can do some cooking. Because I've even seen some grills sitting outside
Yeah,
the
they love
trailers.
grilling. Especially the South Africans love to braai, so that's their barbecue.
It's amazing because they pull in, and so on the Sunday afternoon before our fair starts, you'll slowly start seeing them come in, and the first thing that comes in are the bunkhouses, and they'll park the bunkhouses and get them all set up, situated the
with
way
the
they
water
want
and
to.
electricity.
Water and electricity. And one of the things that we provided last year for them is in their area where they stage their bunkhouses now is we ran more water lines to it, and we also ran in a sewer line so they have a place for their water to run off from their trailers, and it goes directly into the city sewer.
Versus having to collect it a lot of times and then get it pumped.
Yep, either dump or something. Yeah, it's we really appreciate those type of conveniences, and that's one thing we really like about working with Rice County Fair is that they do take our needs into consideration, because there's a lot of people living on the fairgrounds each week.
And it just grows from there, and then all of a sudden the rides will start coming in, and I don't know, sometimes it's just like somebody came in and planted some quick growing seed, and on Monday morning.
I wish my corn would grow that fast.
it just overnight it appears, and it's just that's one of the things that amazes me the most is overnight this transformation of a bare lot and just turns into a carnival, and it's the work that they put into it and the care that they put into it, and one thing that I have noticed is when you do walk through our midway, You know, you see the benches for people to sit down so they can rest when they're walking through, and every one of those benches has a pot of flowers by them, and they just dress it up, and they just go that extra mile just to make it a little bit more special.
But the Rice County Fair did their part too. This was a number of years ago. I think Jim Hermel organized that, the asphalt areas and things. So if it rains, sure, we might be shut down, but as soon as it quits raining, we're ready to go again.
Right. Yeah. If it's just grass or dirt, it makes it really hard for parents and strollers to get through the midway. So that was a great improvement to the fairgrounds. Yes.
And that's one of the things we pride ourselves on is, we want to put on a great show for our fairgoers, and another thing that we pride ourselves on is we try to keep it as clean as we can be, and Gold Star with their employees, they join in the effort, and I'm really proud to say that if you can walk through our midway, it's a nice clean environment. You don't see a lot of trash flying around. Now occasionally you will, I mean, it happens, but we try to pick it up. Every morning we have a crew of guys out there picking up trash.
And I've been there at the Cardinal Cafe in the morning with our breakfast from the fair, and the crews are out there. It looks like it's high school or college kids, summer job, and they're out there double checking to make sure everything's cleaned up, ready to go for another day.
That's right. And Gold Star employees, they're out there in the mornings and they're cleaning up around their rides and tidying up, and just a great effort on everybody's part. The pride, and it's great that we can pride ourselves saying, we have a clean fair, and I really think, honestly, we do, and that's a lot of comments when people come by and they stop in the office and they say, I'm amazed how clean your fairgrounds are, and just a great effort that everybody
I think part of
puts
it
out.
is the fairgoers, and you make it convenient too with the disposal service you have, that there are dumpsters and receptacles all over, so when you get done with something, you're walking anyway, here's one you can drop it in rather than just putting it on the ground.
Exactly so. So, it takes a little bit of planning, and it takes a lot of hard work planning it and getting vendors on board. We have a great Flum Disposals does a great job out there for us with the dumpsters and with the receptacles, and they come through there every morning and clean
He
them.
cheats, so sometimes they set them all out, and he sits in his cab with his joystick. He doesn't have to get out.
Well, at that point in time, I don't care how he cheats and how he gets it done. He gets it done, and he does a great job with it.
And, there's something too about having a carnival. I remember a few years ago, I think it was a Goody County fair, that there was some issue and the carnival didn't show up. And it's at the last minute, and they got some inflatable bouncy houses and things for the kids. But it's still not
quite the
even
same.
though
Yeah.
I'm a little past the years of wanting to go on the zipper and all those things, but it's still the atmosphere of the carnival and the lights.
Oh yeah, no, I never get tired of it. I'm 5th generation, and there's something about walking down the midway and hearing those screams and smelling the food and everything. It's just
People laughing and
it's just it's home to me, and that's what makes our I don't know, it's home.
Well, we have to take another break. Stand by, John and Melissa. We'll continue with Fair Talk right after these words from some more of our great sponsors.
Are thinking about building a new home? Hi, I'm Christine.
You're an
Get
action.
together.
Alarm systems, boom truck, pole
Right,
setting,
here we go.
security systems,
14 seconds.
underground trenching, cable location, vacuum excavation, generator sales, and lighting design and installation. Electricians that know the intricacies of creating and maintaining exceptional farm systems. That's Coles Electric.
Welcome back to Fair Talk 2016 on KDHL's AM Minnesota program. John Dvorak is in studio with the fair, and also Melissa with Gold Star Amusements. And Melissa, I couldn't help but think during the break, you were describing what your life was like. It doesn't matter, you're gonna get to the show goes on, and sometimes working late into the night. Reminded me a lot of being a farmer and maybe a dairy farmer, doesn't it, John?
That's
the same
exactly
type of
right.
dedication that it takes to do what you do.
A lot of physical work, no matter what the weather throws at you.
The companies like Gold Star, you mentioned you're the 5th generation.
Correct.
I would expect there's a lot of that because you almost have to be kind of born into it.
Yeah, or
Don't
kind of
you?
crazy to jump into it. No, it's more it's a lot easier when you have that family connection and all the experience that goes into it. Because if you're just starting on your own, there's so many things you have to learn. Obviously advertising, mechanical, electrical, food. I mean, there's just so much that goes into it that you have to do all yourself. So the family having that structure really helps.
Well, and then having the experience of having all the contacts.
Yes,
You
correct.
know,
And my dad is indispensable in this business. Even if he's not there day to day, all the wealth of knowledge that he has is so important. That's what keeps Gold Star being as strong as we are.
because if you were just going to start out, then the other thing to think about is I don't know what a ride costs nowadays, but
Oh,
it's got to
gosh.
be in the hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, 100,000 is like your low line of a used kiddie ride. I mean, it's $500,000 to $1 million pieces out there. I mean, it's the prices have doubled and quadrupled in just my lifetime. So it's a very expensive business, and it's very hard to profit in the industry with between all the regulations and taxes, and there's just so much that comes in and it goes out just as fast as it
Yeah,
comes
well,
in.
and then the human resources of all the
Yes,
employee
the labor
law, the
costs.
labor laws of different states that you travel
Yes,
to.
we put in a lot into our employees, and we think it's definitely worth it. That's what's important. We want that experience to be great for all the customers, so we put quite a bit into our employees.
You must been, being you're based in Minnesota, hit a lot of fairs in Minnesota then.
Yes, yeah, and we'll be at Delano here for the 4th of July, but then we'll spend a bit of time in the southern part of Minnesota. We do Freeborn, Mauer, Steele County, and then obviously Rice. We like Rice hometown.
Oh, you're at Steele County too, yeah, that's right.
That's our last one for Minnesota, and then we head on South Dakota, Iowa, and then down towards Louisiana.
Hit some state fairs too along the way?
We do South Dakota State Fair. That's our one state fair for the year.
Well, we're just fortunate, John, that years ago you found out about Gold Star and got this long-term relationship there.
Exactly so, and Melissa was saying that her father Mike Featherston, great knowledgeable guy about the industry. And in fact, 3 years ago when we were trying to, what can we do different about our fair and how can we improve it, and Mike's the one that came up with the idea. Well, let's separate the kids' rides from the adult rides, and what a big hit that was. And still is a popular thing that we did, and just his foresight and being able to look down the road and say, how can we improve this fair,
and prey on all of his experience over the decades.
Exactly so, and I think we're still probably one of the only fairs that do have a separate kiddie ride area from the adult rides. And
maybe I could go on the kiddie rides now.
yeah, you maybe
there's
could.
a couple nice ones. You should try our drop-in twist. It's a fun one.
That's
I'll
all I got
I'll
for
stand
the
there
younger
and watch
crowd.
you. I'll buy you that passport ticket, Jared.
Yeah, speaking of that, let's mention that because Melissa mentioned, $500,000 for a ride, and the passport to fun, you can, like I say, ride till you drop for a pretty small fee.
Exactly so, so that's $45, and it's unlimited rides, and like you said, you can ride from when the rides start till when they finish, and you can still stand in line and wait for tomorrow if you want to. But what a great buy. And like we were talking earlier too, is if you can't afford or can't phantom to say, okay, well, we're not going to be there the whole week, we still have armband rides
for a daily
day. So it's just not, we're just not going to cater to the $45 armband. So if you want to come for the day, you can buy that daily armband and ride the rides just for that day. And so
daily wristbands will always be $25 a piece. They're good from open to close, but we're going to do something new this year on Friday. If you buy your armband before 4 o'clock, it'll only be $20, but it's still good the whole day. So that's an extra special armband session there.
So do you still go on the ride sometimes, Melissa?
Pretty rare nowadays, but my kids will drag me on every now and then. They never get tired of it.
I think a major attraction this year should be our secretary on the zipper.
Oh.
Yeah, right after you get off. Right after you get off,
You
Jerry.
are duly challenged.
Right after you exit,
I think I could handle the Ferris wheel.
Yeah, that's my pace nowadays.
But that's part of what you do, is you want to have rides for everybody.
Yeah.
The wilder the better for some,
Yes.
and others. The merry-go-round is just wild enough.
Yeah, no, we have a variety, so there's a little bit for everybody.
We only have about a minute and a half left. Melissa, is there something else that you would like to add other than?
Oh, I don't know, just come visit us. I hope you have a wonderful time at the fair. We really pride ourselves on our customer service, and we're really happy with the job that we do.
And they do a spectacular job, and especially if you're there at night, the way they have their light system set up. I mean, I know they spent a lot of time and designing their lights, and it's just amazing how
Kind of their trademark.
that's right.
Yeah.
They can have different themes, and it's just great to look at, and come on to the fair, and there's always something for everybody.
Now, you even bring your own generators, don't you,
Yes.
to power?
Yeah, we supply all of our power. Yeah, we do it
because
all.
I've seen that generator truck sitting off, humming away.
There'll probably be about 3 of them running at the Rice County Fair.
Yeah.
Boy, it's mind-boggling, and it's only 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's coming quick, so mark it down on your calendar. The fair starts to 19th of July. It ends the 24th, and you know we've got all kinds of contests that you can enter. There's
And don't forget, Kathy Cap would get upset at me. You can still get registered
for the Queen
for the
contest.
Queen contest.
We have our Senior Citizens Day on Thursday. You know, there's still applications being accepted for our Senior Citizen of the Year, and it's just going to be a great time. So
Go
come
to the
on out.
website or see somebody, talk to somebody at the fair.
Exactly so.
Thanks for coming by, John.
Thanks, Jerry.
Melissa, thanks for stopping by. We'll see you in 3 weeks at
Oh,
the
yeah.
Rice County Fair.
Thank you.
Here's news from ABC.